All right, welcome to yoga. Let's go ahead and find a comfortable seated position. Sitting up nice and tall. Just taking a couple deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. An audible sigh. Letting go of any tension that you're holding in your body. And just imagine with that exhale, all the tension in your brain, all the things your brain is doing, multitasking, all the things it doesn't need to be doing. We're just going to let those go with the exhales. So it needs to keep us alive. It needs to keep us breathing, our heart's beating. But it doesn't need to be worrying about what we're going to have for dinner or any of the other trillion things that it might task itself with doing. So I invite you during your practice to use this audible sigh anytime where you catch yourself with your brain somewhere like off in the distance, chasing after shit. Use that audible sigh to bring you back into your body, into the present moment. And I want to put some emphasis on the spine today. So we're going to do a little cat-cow action just from a seated position. So rounding, drawing the spine backwards, and think about as you're moving a string attached, kind of like diaphragm height on the front of the body and on the back of the body. And it's as if we're just a puppet and someone is pulling that string. We round, and then somebody pulls it, and it's as if we're being rolled through with a string, and then we come forward into the arch. And I like this idea of somebody puppeting us because it allows you to surrender a bit more. Like if I just think that I'm constantly arching and rounding because somebody is pushing and pulling from the center of my spine, I'm going to be less likely to try to adjust this movement from my shoulders, from my neck, from my forehead, from my jaw. So I find when I think about myself kind of as a puppet, I soften a lot of that tension that is typically there when I'm overthinking a movement. Now we're just moving with our breath here. And see which feels better in your body. You know, do I inhale and round my back or do I exhale and round my back? Which one feels better? So play with it. Every day is going to be a little bit different because the inhale is going to expand us into that movement a little bit more. So we're going to augment it a bit more. So it just depends on where you need your stretch. So place your breath where you need it. Do one more in each direction. And you'll make your way back to center. Same thing now, I want that same line, but a string now is attached to a rib on each side. And it's as if somebody kind of pulls us over and we just are being pulled in that. So I almost want you to think that you're hanging from the air so that that area is moving the most, but your head and your hips are kind of like gravity pulling them over to the opposite side and then switching. And again, I think of myself as a puppet and I get an extra stretch through the neck because I seem to just release my attachment to my shoulders, assisting in this movement. And it becomes all about the point of contact, the ribs. And the next time you go all the way over to one side, doesn't matter what side, you're going to stop there. And then imagine that you're sitting inside of a tube and you're trying to run that same place that the string's attached, all the way around the rib cage, all the way around the inside of that tube. So I slide my ribs forward, to the front, and then over to the side, and around to the back. And again, I'm just a puppet, so my head and my shoulders and my pelvis to some degree is just kind of along for the ride. And then switch directions. Then you're going to come back center. Take a couple deep breaths right in the center of the body. We're going to augment those movements a little bit more by taking a little bit of a bend into it. So I want you to externally rotate the arms and take them behind you so your fingertips point to the back of the room. And then we're going to lean back into the hands. And then once again, from that little connection point of a string right in the diaphragm, lift up. Keeping the breath relatively measured, meaning that there's a balance between the inhale and the exhale. It doesn't need to be perfect, but I want you to think, am I inhaling really short but exhaling super long, or inhaling long, exhaling short, and try to bring them a little bit more towards balanced medium. Now walk that up and all the way through. Fold it forward. The head drop, and think about that string just gently pulling up towards the ceiling in this forward fold position. So there's a little bit of a curling action that's happening. Rolling yourself up. Your left hand is going to come onto your left knee. And as we bend over to the right, I want you to kind of push that thigh away from you. And you may have to walk the hand all the way up into the hip to do this. So it's not going to be this like huge, deep side bend, because I really want you to focus on actually lifting up and out of the pelvis and lifting through that rib cage. So I just push the thigh bone down and creating more space in the hip joint, and I arch up and out of that. And notice if you're tipping towards the thigh and the knee, I want you to really almost tip the chest up towards the sky. And reach from your ear through the shoulder and from the shoulder through the hip. And then, if it feels appropriate, you can let that go and come over into that really big side bend. And the left arm is going to come up and pull us all the way up and over. The right hand comes under the right thigh. And as we bend over, we push that femur bone down, creating extra space through the hip socket. We're kind of lifting up through the waistline and lifting up through the rib cage. Letting the head be nice and heavy so that we get a good stretch through the neck and shoulder as well. And then if it feels good to go deeper, we can take it into the big, juicy side stretch. Right arm comes up, and that arm pulls the body all the way up. Let's go ahead and spread our backs for a second. And if you've got a strap or a strap-like object, you can use that. Let's do some really gentle hip and leg opening to start. So you're going to come on your back, your left leg is going to be long, and your right foot is going to have the strap around it. Now, if you don't have a strap, that's fine. You're just going to take hold of the leg with your hands. And you're extending through both heels. So right leg is up, but left heel is still extended even though the leg is down. And I'm bending in the elbows if I've got a strap. I'm bending in the elbows so that I'm taking this out of my shoulders and into my biceps. And then I'm just going to gently kind of, from this center position, swing that right leg out 6 inches and back center, and then in 6 inches. And just do that a couple times. The same thing, if you're hanging onto the back of the leg, you're just going to swing it out and swing it in. And we're looking for sensation here. So where you get the deepest sensation is where you are in a moment going to actually pause. So once you find that spot, you're going to hang out there for a couple breaths. And then see if you can expand within that position. So what does that mean? That means I expand through my heel and suck my hip down at the same time. I expand by pushing my thigh bone towards my left foot while pulling my toes towards my head more. Can I reach up through my heel and pull my toes down more? So just looking at places where you can expand in this shape. And then coming back center, you're going to move from a half happy baby. So we come down, we drop the knee down towards the armpits. If you're hanging on to the leg, you're going to move from hanging onto the foot to hanging onto the leg. If you've got the strap, I mean, you might even be able to hang onto the foot the whole time if you're super bendy. But if you've got the strap, you're just going to pull the leg down, push the leg up. So work this again with your breath. Doesn't matter what movement you do on the inhale or the exhale, but just moving between the two. Good. And then you release the leg. Just bend the foot so it touches on the knee. And then a really gentle twist. So we're not like taking an extra deep twist here. You're just going to drop the knee across the body. Right arm extends out. And this twist is more for the low back, pelvis, sacrum. We're going to move into a deeper version, or a higher up version, not necessarily deeper, by bending the left knee to come under the right, and then tucking the knees up towards the chest. And you'll feel that twist come out of the low back and move up into the mid and or upper back. So I'm still working on keeping that right shoulder down, and then I'm really pulling the knees up and kind of pressing my right knee away from me a little bit to get that extra twist in the mid-back. And then on your next exhale, you'll pull the knees back center. Give them a little bit of a hug in. And then we're going to take the strap on the left foot. Right leg extends down the mat. Both feet flex. So either you're in position with a strap, you've got a hold of the foot, or you've got a hold of the back of the leg, whatever option you have available. And then we're going to swing that left foot just 6 inches in, 6 inches out. Just moving through a small range of motion. Again, we're looking for sensation. So where do I get the deepest sensation, the one that feels the juiciest for me to focus on for a couple minutes? Well, once you get that, you're going to hang out there. And then find that expansion. Up through the heel, down through the hip, towards your head with your toes, towards your other toes with your thigh. Heel reaching to the ceiling, toes peeling down. Staying with your breath. Using that exhale to let go of unnecessary tension in the body as well as in the brain. Coming back center. We're going to move into that half happy baby. So either using your hand on the foot, in the back of the leg, or on the strap, you pull down to half happy baby and you really push through this right thigh, and then you take it back up. Cycling it with your breath. And then you're going to remove the strap. You've got one. Bend the knee so that the toe just kind of taps the other knee, and then twist over to the right. Left arm comes out to the side. Just taking a nice gentle twist into that low back. And moving it up the back by sliding the right knee up and then pulling the knees up towards the chest. And again, you want to try to keep that left knee stacked on top of the right. So there's a little pushing action that happens there. And then you're really working on getting the chest up towards the ceiling. And that's going to give us the twist in the mid and upper back. And on your exhale, you'll use that to bring the knees back center. Give it a hug. Okay. And then you're going to roll onto your belly. And come into Sphinx pose. So elbows under the shoulders, hands in front of the elbows. Wiggle the hips out. The belly melts down. And then again, as if you've got a string attached right in that same diaphragm location, that string is going to start to slide you forward. So you feel this stretching of those front bottom ribs away from the belly. And the heart tips up, shoulders drop down and back, and the head's just hanging out in alignment with the rest of the spine. Couple deep breaths here. Feeling that stretch through the belly. And then we're going to move into a little bit of a quad stretch. I like to double up my mat here for my arm because I got soft little elbows. And you're gonna rotate that right arm in so that's square to the front of your mat. And then bend the left knee and reach back and grab the left foot with the left hand. Thumb is pointing up and your hand is on the inside of the foot. And that's gonna help open up the chest. You wanna be wary that the knee doesn't pop way out here. So it stays in line with the hip. And then you just wanna start to drive your left rib cage and left shoulder forward. So I'm trying to square myself off again. That's gonna automatically deepen the back bend and the stretch through the quad. If you're super bendy, you can try to get that foot into the little nook of the elbow and do the same thing. Driving the left rib cage forward, the left shoulder forward, squaring off the chest. And then you're going to release and switch sides. So left arm comes down. Then the right knee. Reach back with the right hand. And then drive the right rib cage and the right shoulder forwards. Now, if you have a knee injury, this is another option, taking the strap and just pulling the strap over your shoulder as if it was Santa Claus's bag. And then you can really stay in that square position in the torso and adjust how much torque you're putting on that knee joint. And letting that go. You're going to move yourself back towards child's pose. Walking it up. And let's sit in hero's pose for a second. So on your knees, ready to put some height under the hips if you need to. Oh. Maybe a little more height under the hips if you need to. Whew, like an 80-year-old woman. Half the class is just going to be me moving from one position to the other. Get there eventually, guys, I promise. Maybe. Okay. You want to grab a strap or a hand towel or sweatshirt, whatever you've got that you can have a little bit of length and tug on. And you want to focus on making sure that the pelvis doesn't rock back and forwards. I find that sitting hero's pose really helps with that because you notice immediately because the weight is rocking on your ankles. If you're up on a block, it's actually much harder to rock back and forth. So it's up to you how you want to do it. But we want to keep the pelvis relatively neutral. And we're going to do a little bit of shoulder opening. So you want to find up above your head the place where you can move from the front side of the body to the back side of the body without needing to shrug the shoulders or like do any little weird dance. So you get this movement going. Clip this, it doesn't make so much noise. You essentially want a nice smooth movement from the back of the body to the front of the body without, the little like hustle. Dun, 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 dun. No hustles, okay? Smoothness. You can do this with a stick, child, I don't know, whatever you've got handy. We're looking for that place right on the edge where you almost have to do the hustle. And we're just going to stretch that edge. So we're moving with the breath. This is a great one if you're at the desk all day and just like once an hour, stand up and do this. And when it feels like, I've gone back and forth quite a few times and I don't feel that intensity that I initially felt, then just like centimeter by centimeter, bring your hand in a little bit. So we're constantly finding our edge. And the moment that it feels like, oh yeah, my edge is shifted, well then I gotta shift. Every time it feels like you could go a little bit deeper, shorten that strap. Good. And then, it's usually quite exhausting on the shoulders because they have to work really hard as they're opening up. So I like to do just little alternating shoulder shrugs after that. Do a little dance. And I've just been so obsessed lately with doing all of these kind of, and maybe it's because I have to like treat my body like an 85-year-old woman, but I've been really enjoying like opening everything up in this very soft, gentle, and kind way, and then doing a sun salutation practice at the end. It's been my jam for the last month or so. So you guys get what I like, I guess. So come on up to standing. Wiggle anything out that feels like needs to be wiggled. Just notice the places where you still feel super stuck or even slightly stuck. And I want you just to imagine that those spots are highlighted so that as we move through this more a flow practice, you can put your awareness in those places so that you can use that flow practice to really get things opened up. I just need somebody to come and like stand on my back. This is the thing I miss about like in-person classes, where I can just be like, hey, you want to stand on my back after class? Okay. Top of the mat. Feet hip width apart. Standing nice and tall. Take a couple of those big exhales again. Just keep moving your awareness further down in your body so that you're really present as far from your head as you can get, all the way down to those toes, feeling nice and grounded. Imagine you've got roots that move down into the floor. And we're going to inhale, sweep the arms up. And then exhale, keep your heart lifted and just drop the arms down. Send your tail down. So the heart's up, tail is down. Again, we inhale, lift up, get the heart higher. Exhale, arms down, shoulders down, tail down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And inhale up. This time you're going to exhale, right arm forward, left arm back. Opposition, left hip forward, right hip back. Inhale up, back center. Exhale, left arm forward, right arm back. Right hip forward, left hip back. Inhale, arms up. Good. So finding opposition, we exhale, open to the left. Pushing with the left hip. Inhale, center. Exhale, open right. Pushing with the right hip. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, up. Exhale, right. And up. Good. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bow. Bend the knees. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, shoulders down. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, bow. Bend your knees. Inhale, roll up. Big shoulder roll on that exhale. Inhale up. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bow. Bend the knees. Inhale up. Exhale, shoulders down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, drop the booty down. Send it back. Inhale, lengthen, drop your head. Exhale, booty back, head forward. Inhale, up, head down. Exhale, booty back, head forward. Inhale, forward fold. Exhale, half squat. Inhale, forward fold. Exhale, half squat. Stay in this half squat. Shift your weight into the right foot. Send the left foot back. Roll up into a lunge. I want you to keep that right knee as far forward as it'll go. Bend the left knee and swoop your butt under you. So really get the booty under you. And then keep the tail reaching down. Even think about pulling the tail between the legs and it pulls forwards. And from there, start to extend that left leg as much as you can without taking this into the low back. So it stays through the hip and the thigh. From here, you can sweep the arms up. Oh, and sink a little deeper on your exhale. So we inhale and we expand. And we exhale, sink a little deeper. One more. Inhale and expand. Exhale, sink deeper. Sweep the arms down to the floor. Right foot steps back. Planks pose. Inhale. Exhale, roll through your spine. So think of that string grabbing your spine and pulling you up and back. Oh, take a couple deep breaths in your down dog. And imagine that string right in the middle of your back attached to your spine. And as you inhale, that string's going to get pulled forward and you're going to drag the body forward into planks pose. And then exhale, same thing. It gets pulled, you lift up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale forwards, plank from the spine. Exhale, up and back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. One more time. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And hang for another couple breaths here in down dog. Work through your body. Get into those areas that feel tight. Good. And then you're going to roll yourself forward. Pick that left foot up and step it forwards. Roll up. Come nice and deep into the lunge on the left leg. But bend the right knee. Swoop the butt in under you. Keep that butt under you. Keep that left knee bent nice and deep. And then extend the right leg as much as you can without adjusting the pelvis. We inhale the arms up. And then exhale, sink a little deeper. We inhale and feel the whole body kind of expand, like the body itself breathes in every single cell. Exhale, sink a little deeper. Inhale and expand. Exhale, sink deeper. Inhale and expand. Exhale, sink deeper. Good. You're going to sweep the arms down next to your side. Put the hands under the hips. Tip yourself forward so you're kind of lying on that left thigh. And then step the right foot forward back into that squat. Inhale, forward fold. Exhale, half squat. Inhale, forward fold. Exhale, half squat. Inhale, forward fold. Exhale, half squat. Beautiful. Shift the weight into the left foot. Step that right foot back behind you. This time, bring the right knee down onto the mat. Walk your left toes out to the edge of your mat. Turn the toes out. And then sink the hips forwards. Maybe you stay up on your hands. Maybe you come down onto your elbows. But we've got this external rotation happening in the left hip. And I want you to counter that with the left rib cage dropping down. So you're really squaring your rib cage and your belly to the floor as the left leg tries to spiral you outwards. And if you're on your elbows, you're going to come up onto your hands and move the right hand in just a little bit so it's in alignment with the right hip. And the left arm is going to swing up and back, and you're reaching towards the wall behind you, and then feel as if you're trying to reach with your eyeball, really looking backwards, opening up across the chest and through the neck. If you want to add the quad stretch here, you can always bend that right knee and grab hold of it with the left hand. And then unwind, come back center, heel toe that left foot in, lift the right knee up, hands on the mat, step back into plank, take a deep breath in, and then from that spot in the spine, round up and roll back. Take a couple deep breaths here in down dog. Notice where you're holding tension and you don't need to be. Notice where you're collapsing and you can create more space. And then connecting with that string again in the spine. As you inhale, it pulls you forward into plank. And you exhale, it pulls you up and takes you back. Inhale forwards. Exhale back. Inhale forward. And exhale back. Let's do one more. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Take a couple more deep breaths here. Move through the body. Good. And then you're going to roll forwards. Take that right foot forward, outside of the hand. Roll the foot all the way to the outer edge of the mat. Bring the left knee down. Turn the left toes out. You can stay upright here or come down to the forearms. But what we're working on is beautiful external rotation through that right thigh and then resisting that external rotation through your torso. So this is a really deep hip opener for that right hip all the way around the hip joint. It's a deeper variation of what we started in with the half happy baby. And if you're on your elbows, you'll come up onto your hands. Left hand comes in line with the left hip. Right arm sweeps up and back. We turn the head and the gaze to look backwards. The hips keep driving forwards as we open up towards the wall behind us. Come back center, walk those right toes in. Lift the left knee up. You're going to stay on top of that right foot and step the left foot up, coming into that half squat. And then on your inhale, you'll lift the hips, drop the head. Exhale, half squat. Inhale, lift the hips, drop the head. Exhale, half squat. Inhale, lift the hips, drop the head. Exhale, half squat. Keep the knees bent, but round through the spine and roll yourself back up to standing. And now sweep the arms up. And then exhale, bend the knees and open to the left. Keep driving that left hip forward. Inhale up, open to the right, and your exhale, drive your right hip forward. Inhale up, left, so we're finding a nice oppositional twist. Inhale up, exhale back. Good, so now you're going to inhale. The arms are going to do the same thing, but we're going to step into that left leg and send the right foot back into the lunge. We inhale back up. Exhale to the right, left foot steps back into a twisting lunge. Inhaling up. Exhale into the twisting lunge. Inhale, center. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, center. And exhale, lunge. Inhale, center. And exhale, lunge. Inhale, center. Reach all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, jump or step to plank. Hold for an in-breath. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, look forwards. Jump or step to the hands. Keep dropping through your squat. Ooh. Down onto your back. All the way down for Shavasana. As you get settled, take a couple of more of those cleansing breaths. And deepening your breath once again. Just imagine that that inhale floods into every single cell of your body, just giving fresh energy. Almost like a ray of sunshine meeting each and every one of your cells and expanding open. Begin to move your body in whichever manner feels appropriate to you. And slowly making your way up to seated. Keep on moving in whatever manner feels appropriate to you. And back to your breath. Breathing in gratitude. Exhaling stress, guilt, shame, sadness. Inhaling gratitude. Exhaling anything that feels like it is stopping you from fully experiencing that gratitude. On your next inhale, go ahead and bring the hands together at your heart. Taking a second to express gratitude to yourself for being here today, for doing this thing, moving this body. For carving out a little bit of space in your own life for yourself. Sometimes that seems like the most challenging thing to do. Thank you guys for joining me today. Namaste.